Hello, my name is Davide Cali, and I'm the CEO of Expand, a technological accelerator operated by global senior talents across different industries, deep tech, digital science, and smart industries. We focus on high-tech new ventures, from idea to round B, which need a strong technical strategy and business guidance. In my career, I was always involved with innovative projects. I led more than 20 research projects, some of them originated patents, and I wrote a dozen of international IT papers, mostly in AI-related areas such as NLP, ontologies, machine learning, and robotics. I want to thank WAIC for the opportunity to talk about one of my favorite topics. Today, I'm going to talk to you about how startups can leverage R&D to achieve their goals and why I think it is so crucial to move in this direction. In the last few years, I think an important shift is happening into the startup scene. The last 2 decades, I've seen a lot of tech companies succeeding leveraging internet first and then mobile technologies. These companies brought into the market a business model innovation more than a technical innovation. This approach is losing effectiveness and is getting to the point that it's not working anymore. Last rounds of investment in the new economy are in fact performing very poorly. Various analyses show that the last generation of internet companies are generating less revenue, less profit, and have lower capitalization of the current incumbents, who heavily invested in deep technologies, such as Google. For instance, you can have a look at this slide to have a better understanding. The age of internet mobile technology-based companies is fading. The new era thrives on deep and emerging technologies, AI, robotics, new device interface, AR, VR, and disruptive business models. Traditional business model-oriented companies are not properly equipped to navigate the uncharted waters of the coming technological revolution. New startups implementing AI and machine learning technologies who want to scale up and disrupt markets need to build unfair technological advantages. Only unique innovations allow the newcomer to take over larger competitors and build a moat to defend their market shares. In order to gain an unfair technical advantage, you must do R&D. There is no alternative. Joseph Schumpeter, more than a century ago, coined the term creative destruction to describe the capitalistic entrepreneurial process at work. Motivated by personal incentives, including but not limited to financial profit, entrepreneurs will push to best one another in a never-ending game of creatively defeating competition. And in the process, they will destroy old ideas and replace them with newer technology. Entrepreneurial startups are quintessentially R&D machine, but once the initial product is done, they lose the push, the will to continue doing R&D. Until the merging of the new economy startups about 40 years ago, R&D was multinational company and big lab business. R&D is nowadays under a strong process of democratization. The first option for new ventures is to go for an internal process. Let's consider lean scalable startups. They solve real-world user problems and usually have the teams with multidisciplinary knowledge and skills, but it is very rare to find high-level scientific skills in the early stages, and it is hard to recruit them. Also, they usually have little money and little time. For all these reasons, the best option, in my opinion, to do R&D is to rely on external specialized structures and well-established academia institutions. But why the startups should go through this process? What they can achieve, what can R&D give to them? First, acquire know-how assets. The startups can acquire from universities, for example, pieces of knowledge or know-how transfer. They can reuse already developed assets by research labs, university, and so on, or implement it as background for further researches. Even source code can be acquired to be integrated in startups' platform. Second, acquire intangible know-how. Receive from R&D personnel training, information, ideas, and skills. Third, hire exceptional talents as consultants, interns, PhD candidates before they enter into traditional work channels. Also, at that stage, these people are ready to join innovative startups. Fourth, facilitate access to government funds, adding new members to the team to gain credibility, or adding missing skills to the core team. Some grants have in fact high requirements in terms of academic backgrounds. Fifth, increase company credibility. For startup, this is a precious currency. They have not a strong reputation, and this makes hard to access all kind of resources. Either as a customer to sign in, a supplier to acquire, or an investor to bring on board. Having cooperation with R&D organizations reinforce startup positioning. 6. Gain visibility. Participate in the writing of scientific papers, international conference, participate in scientific breakthrough. All these activities are formidable chances to get more exposure and create a strong network of relationships. Startups don't have big funds to offer to university, but they have data or particular skills. Most scientific research is theoretical. R&D teams lack real data to test their theories. On the other hand, startups have often data, but not the skill to analyze them. That is a perfect synergy there. 7. Reduce the risk of delay during development of new functionalities. They don't have to go through the painful and time-consuming process of inventing the wheel for the first time. 8. Reduce the cost. Internal R&D development have more overhead and resources waste. R&D of scientific bodies, especially from second and third tier, can offer a great chance to acquire or use as outsourced R&D for very good rates. A reason being that these R&D centers have access to a lot of public free resources produced by first-tier university. These resources are there, but without knowing where they are located or how to use them or integrate them, they are useless. Sometimes these existing technologies have been developed by hundreds of man-months, but can be acquired by the simple cost of the customization. Another advantage is that R&D institutions are very highly skilled and talented resources that can perform the task faster than the startup staff. 9. Acquire new customers. When startups are very innovative, R&D centers may be interested to acquire their technologies or their services. They are in fact keener to innovation than the traditional SME or MNC. They have more of a pioneer attitude. 10, and this is my last point on the list, acquire unfair advantage and build a moat. Accessing deep tech, state-of-the-art technology, and know-how allow the startup to gain a strong position among competitors, increasing the defensibility of their business model. So, now that we have cleared the why, let's talk about the how. The most common options for startups are: first, access public-funded innovation programs; second, partner with university, R&D center, and labs; and third, access acceleration business venture programs. Governments are constantly trying to drive growth of small business and disruptive idea to bring in jobs, additional tax revenue, and create an environment where a stream of competitive business can grow. The US has BIR, the Small Business Innovative Research Grants, which provide over $1 billion of R&D funding to small business. The EU has had in the last year multiple funding schemes for R&D, dozens of billions of euro invest, and just recently the British government itself announced a plan to create a 1.25 billion support package for small business to grow their potential to impact the local and international markets. China is, however, the largest investor. It is estimated that over 10% of the country's GDP is invested in subsidies and grants for innovation every year. We talk over $1 trillion. The focus is also shifting in China from attracting large foreign MNC to land in China to foster local entities. There is a shift from top to bottom and grassroots innovation. That is a great opportunity for all innovative startups. Large businesses are already well known to place large amounts of money into R&D. However, they may be better off investing that money in startups, where the time to result is often much shorter and the cost considerably less, as the stakes are much greater for startups than internally funded R&D units. That's why we see a lot of open innovation, and you can have a look to this Cali study to understand better. I believe, however, there is a large gap in the market to help startups with R&D. That is why more has to be done to provide them with access to scientists, experts, innovation managers, and easy ways to benefit from government and corporate funding. Expand has an R&D in its DNA. Not only some of our founders have research experience, but we already have a scientific board. We already cooperate with many universities and research facilities all around the world. That is why I would like to suggest a new way to help the startups to acquire R&D assets. We want to launch the idea of an R&D acceleration program to boost the tech value of different batches of startups. A pool of tech transfer experts will access a dedicated software lab, enabled with some of the most cutting-edge frameworks available in the market, and help the companies to build a disruptive tech stack. We will leverage our scientific board, our network of researchers, and deep connection with leading R&D organizations in the world. We are now at the end of this presentation. I want to thank you all for your attention, and I really look forward to hear your feedback, in particular about my idea to set up a specific R&D acceleration program for startups. I'm of course open to cooperate to anyone interested in my idea. Please reach out. Here are my contacts. And finally, let me thank again WAIC for the opportunity to participate in one of the leading AI conferences in the world. And I hope that my small contribution will inspire some of you. Thank you again, and see you next year in person.